My name is Rhonda Head, and I'm the Indigenous Program Coordinator with the Manitoba Arts Network. Welcome to the first ever digital creation swap, and we're so glad that you could join us today. Manitoba Arts Network connects, showcases, and promotes visual and performing artists with communities across Manitoba. And I'd like to bring in my awesome boss, Roseanne Harder.
Thanks, Rhonda. The Manitoba Arts Network and our members live and work on Treaty 1, 2, 3, and 5 territories. We acknowledge and appreciate the past, present, and future generations of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, Dene peoples, and the Métis Nation, as well as the Inuit people who have a strong community here in Manitoba.
Thank you, Roseanne, for the land acknowledgement. And I got asked to do a prayer, so I'm going to do the best that I can in Cree. I'm still learning my language, so please forgive me if I make mistakes on reading the prayer. Kusemanto kananaskamatin anuch kagi sigak. Kiminame chehoyak kage me moyak kasagi toyak. Kaminowi chituak kage ge. Kasagi tin kitimagina winan. Eguste. As part of Manitoba Arts Network dynamic online programming aimed at overcoming the barriers of the current pandemic to consistently provide access to the arts, the Digital Creation Swap was created. Over the course of the next 5 months, musicians and visual artists will be brought together across geographic boundaries to create collaborative projects, drawing inspiration from each other's work. I would like to thank the Canada Arts Council for funding our series of 5 digital creation swaps over the next 5 months. The artists have created their pieces, recorded their videos, and are ready to showcase them to you tonight, followed by a live Q&A with both artists. Now let us watch their digital creations in response to each other's network.
In times like these, words seem silly, I know. But here I go. Your heart is breaking when the other is full. I never heard you so low. Hard to imagine you paid such a cost. Sometimes a person is an angel's lost. Tomorrow in the morning when you open your eyes, you'll hope that today was just a bad trip. But in seconds I know you will be my friend. I wish I could wipe your memory. There is no reason, it's nobody's fault. Sometimes a person is an angel's heart. Those white angels who are stuck on the ground for an angel. I saw you there, sitting in that chair, staring out the window, whispering a prayer, a prayer. You held me tight, you took my hand, you told me, baby, this wasn't what we planned. Summer gives way to fall. I can't help but recall how the autumn moon just danced in your eyes. The ghost of you, it haunts me. The sound of you on repeat. I feel all around me. Your glowing light, it found me. And never try to never lose the ghost of you. The ghost of you, it haunts me. The sound of you on repeat. I feel you all around me. Your glowing light found me. And I never try to. I never lose the ghost of you.
Wow, that was incredible. That really moved me. Thank you, Jen and Heather, for sharing those beautiful creations. Wow, that was really moving. Thank you so much. I'd like to introduce Jen and Heather quickly before the Q&A. Jenn Beaupre is one of our performing artists who was booked for the 2021 season. Heather Martens' Rempel exhibition's Biophilia is currently touring through Manitoba. We at Manitoba Arts Network wanted to provide an opportunity for musicians and artists to collaborate on a project that gives audiences a chance to connect with them during the pandemic. Calgary musician Jenn Beaupre sways the masses with her imitable voice. She pairs technical agility with a natural ability to discern and reinterpret the underlying truth of a song. She has seen success in every sphere of performance she's embraced, from intimate concert halls with nothing but her piano to widely celebrated platforms such as Canadian Idol, the 2010 Winter Olympics, and the Moscow Ballet. Very impressive. Heather Martens Rempel's works as a printmaker, collage artist, and art educator. Her work has been in numerous solo and group exhibitions across Manitoba. While some ideas reflect international travel, Manitoba is her favorite muse. When not working in her studio in McGregor, Heather is sharing the joy of gel plate printing in workshops throughout the province with people of all ages. Now let's have a discussion about each of your processes, experience successes, and challenges.
Well, Heather, pleased to finally meet you face to face, first of all.
There we go. Great.
Hey, great to meet you.
Great to meet you.
I have to tell you, I'm 2 Kleenexes deep. That was really cool. That was unexpectedly emotional. And I have to be honest with you, I am a little bit taken aback by how literal, in a way, you interpreted that song. Can I just start by asking you a very broad question that just tell me, what is that? How did you interpret my lyrics to come up with that piece? What is your piece about?
I was so struck. Usually I'm a person who gets the sense of a song more by the music, and I don't pay attention to lyrics. But the first bars just grabbed me right away, and I knew that was the one I was going to select. Then when I did listen to the lyrics, I was so struck by how many images came to my mind, and there was so much room for symbolism, lights and darks, hope and despair, and then those things lend themselves so well to visual art with placement and size, and then the challenge too of how to have those contrasts so they would still, you'd be able to see them both. One wouldn't overpower the other. So it was very, very interesting that way. And actually, the poses of the people, I had so many ideas of how to express that visually, and it was actually hard to pick. And I had made a few, and then I thought, and then they wouldn't go further. So, but when I got these 2 poses of the people, then everything else just came together. It was quite an interesting, different process for me. So
the poses of the people, the poses of the man was intense. I really felt his emotion. Are those people someone?
Well, I do use models and take pictures for reference, but I didn't. I think when I thought of the poses and people in that situation, I thought of different experiences more, and I also thought of myself in being either person, right, the receiver or the giver. So that was very interesting too.
Well, one of the things, yeah, I mean, thank you. What a beautiful representation of your interpretation of what the song is. I wondered as I observed your art to create my new piece, I almost called you. I think I did call you and start asking you if it was paint or what the medium was, and I kind of cut my own self off so I could save it for this discussion. But the video explained like it's collage. It's a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. From the video, were you able to get a little bit of sense of how the printing part happens?
I mean, I don't know that I'm completely set straight. I see that it's just a lot of different, it feels like a lot of mediums, actually.
Yeah. And those ones I made for demonstration, because actually when I do that printing, I have a collection of prints. And so then when I'm doing a piece, I go to look at those, and then the pieces speak to me. I want to be the shirt. I want to be the pants, kind of thing. So that makes it really, again, kind of, there's a lot that's not in my control. Yeah,
Well,
it's,
honestly, I'll probably rewatch the video if and when it's available, and then I'll probably have more questions after I watch it again. I'll have to admit, I was watching the art. I was watching the piece come together more than I was watching the process when I watched that video. But just so cool. And also, the pieces that you sent me to choose from to create my piece are very, very different than what you created. I don't know if the 3 pieces you sent me were from a particular collection, but they were very cohesive to me, and they kind of all had a vibe. And I guess I expected that vibe from what you created.
okay.
And it's not at all. I tried very hard to stay off of your website and off of everything because I just wanted to have a really neat experience tonight. But it looks to me like you do lots of different, like within the collage, you have a lot of different things even within that, yeah?
Yes, yes. I'm using different kinds of materials to make the collage. And sometimes I use found images too, but these were all draw from drawings and just the print medium. But you were saying that the other 3 were quite different, and they were kind of a small grouping representing this time during COVID when it felt like I thought I had a great gig before and it just kind of collapsed. And so initially there was a feeling of why bother, you know, but then as time goes by, you realize, hey, this is a gift to have time like this. And so I decided to not have intention and really play, which usually I don't. I'm always working for something. And so they came out of that, and I would say also there's a different feel to them for me. So it's neat that you pick up on that.
So are the 3 pieces I observed, are those a departure from your typical work?
I would say yes.
They are. Oh, well, that's so cool because that's all I knew of you. I really love all 3 pieces. I went back and forth as I tried to narrow down which one I was choosing. I think it's really interesting I kind of forgot that you chose Angel Who's Lost. And it's sort of, it kind of makes me look like a one-trick pony because the song I composed is also about loss. It's so funny because everything I've been writing recently, and that I should say everything I've put out recently is not super emotive. But the song you chose and the song I created are both about loss and are both ballads and are both very, I don't know, for lack of a better word, a little bit heavy.
Yeah.
Frankly, both about death. And your pieces, the titles are like hope, and it's interesting to hear you explain what they were born of because they were beautiful and they didn't feel of struggle to me. Not that you said you were necessarily struggling when you created them, but COVID.
Oh yeah, I struggled a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another thing I would say is you and I have had a bit of communication through this process, and my art has been, I don't think I've written a song by myself for several years, and that's part of why I agreed to this because I knew I would have to complete a piece. And looking at your art, I didn't want to wreck, your art was beautiful and I didn't want to make something that didn't equal how beautiful it was. But when I looked at it, I put them all up on my screen and I thought, what do I feel? What am I reminded of? Who or what? And I thought of a dear friend of mine who also was an artist and who died of breast cancer. It was very unexpected because your pieces, there's nothing specific that I saw in your pieces other than it's beautiful art, and hers was too. But I really it really made me feel nostalgic for the times when things were simpler. And also there was leaves and feathers, and it felt very fall-ish, and it just made me feel so I have such fond memories. And I wrote the song from the perspective of kind of her husband, but of anybody left behind. So thank you. It was such a lovely process.
Oh, I'm glad. You're very welcome. So when you did choose that one, I'm really curious for you the process of do the words come to you first, or is it the music that comes first?
For this project, I wanted the music to sound like the art looked to me. So I sat at my piano and I just moved through chords until it felt just the right kind of melancholy, I guess. And I just sat and I wrote a lot of words. And I saw the autumn moon in there, and I thought of how the autumn moon I don't know what it meant to me, and I just started putting words. And then I just started singing the words, random words, to the chords, and it kind of came together actually quite quickly. I was really relieved because I was scared with the timeline and with your beautiful art and with everything that I would in the end come with nothing or something mediocre. And it's not to say that the song is wonderful, but what I will say unexpectedly is that I will put this song out, that I plan to record this song and release this song. I probably will spend a little bit more time tweaking it, but the idea of it and the vibe of it, it feels really authentic. And that's the other thing I wanted to say to you and Manitoba Arts is this was a really wonderful opportunity to rewind me back to my roots of why I wanted to write songs and be an artist. So I apologize. It was a really wonderful challenge, but it was hard. I think it was hard for you too. Talk about that.
The feeling of, when I saw the list of musicians that were going to be part of this, when it was just an idea, musicians blank, no one specific, it's like, yeah, sure. And then I saw the names and I kind of had a momentary meltdown. It's like, I don't belong with those people. I know of some of them, I've heard them a lot on stage, and how does this go together? But I actually, it was after your first phone call that I really settled down because of what you said about let's be totally open as to what comes and how we do it. And that really got me back on track, and I was less intimidated. And then, the time frame, but at the same time, I'm kind of used to that. And I just had to keep trusting that if I'm open to the ideas, they'll come, and be open to them, not force it, and trust that it will. And I felt like it did.
It did, but it was scary waiting. I too was like, and then one day I was like, But it was hard. It was really hard though, because gigs, when I have gigs, I have to be prepared and go play the gig. But as for songwriting, I've never had a songwriting deadline. So that really scared me. But I'm like, for the last few years when I say I'm a singer-songwriter, I've almost felt guilty for saying it because I've done a lot of co-writes and I've done a lot of music, like very experimental. I want to try more pop music. I want to try this. I want to try that. But this reminded me that no, I am a songwriter I work best when I write what is natural for me, not when I'm trying to wear other hats. Not that it's a bad idea to try on other hats, but this was such an authentic process. This is kind of what I did when I was 15 years old and I was enamored with song and songwriting. So such a great gift, this project, but it was scary.
Yeah. Well, and I think another thing that helped me counteract the feeling of the challenge was that I know that there's a cool energy when you collaborate with someone. It's not just your own ideas that are feeding it, and the other two songs that that I listened to, it was like, oh yeah, this will be fun and this will be cool. but like I say, when I heard Angel Who's Lost, that just like, I knew right away, first bar, like it's a no-brainer. This is what I'm going to do. And it, to me, it has a very similar vibe to the one that you wrote.
I
And
know, that's what I was saying. It's so
yeah,
bizarre.
I like that you used the word melancholy too, because it's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it certainly fits music, and it's what I kind of gravitate towards. And I don't find it doesn't bring me down or make me sad. It just I really connect with it.
Oh,
And
that's so lovely that it doesn't necessarily make you sad. I know
no,
that song I've played at several funerals, and I've played at several concerts where people come up to me after and say things like, I need to tell you that, you know, I lost my baby at the end of the pregnancy in this song, and da-na-na-na. So I'm glad that it didn't necessarily wash over you as just pure sadness.
no,
Although I'm okay when it does. And
yeah,
I will just say that what I wrote that song about was one of my very best friends. She lost her brother to suicide, and actually I played this song at my Manitoba showcase. She called me. She called me from away. She was far away from home, and told me what had happened. And I just remember thinking, what do you do and what do you say when someone gives you this information? Like, what can you offer someone?
yeah.
And so that song is a song I wrote for her and her family, but I have played that song for, as I say, everybody who's lost their somebody. I've played that song over the years. And also, can I have a photocopy of that thing, or like a snippy snapshot, or I don't know how it works, but I'd love to have something keepsake of that.
For sure, I can send you something. Yeah, yeah. A question that I wanted to ask you was, looking at some of your videos, you're obviously no stranger to collaboration. You've done collaborations with quite a few different kinds of artists. And I was wondering what that process is for you. Why are you attracted to that and try that out?
I don't even know that I am attracted to it for the same reason as you. It's scary. It's scary because, yes, it absolutely elevates. When everybody shows up, it's absolutely an elevation to everybody involved. But the same as you want to show up. You want to show up and play your part. You want to show up and be as participatory as everybody else. And I think I'm going to hijack your question and say that I think some collaborations work. Some collaborations just fill you up, and some are also great. But to be honest, I feel like I would do this with you again, with another visual artist, or particularly you again. It was such wonderful motivation. And instead of feeling pressured to stand up to your awesomeness, I more felt this wonderful, just simple inspiration, I guess, and motivation to do something. Your thing is beautiful, and I want to do something beautiful. And your visual is something that wasn't in my eyeballs or my head or my mind or my heart before. So it was so neat to have something external that wasn't another songwriter, that wasn't something music, to be inspired by. So that was, yeah. I don't. Do you collaborate a lot?
A year ago, some local musicians had a kind of coffee house, and I was invited to do some artwork for it, and I invited two other artists, and we just did spin-offs from the theme of music. So that it was it was a really cool experience.
Oh, so you have already done this. You're old
Oh
hat.
no, not to music per se, just the theme of music. Very wide open, but I really do enjoy. Like I say, for me, collaboration is feeding off the energy, getting ideas, and that you can't come with anything preconceived because you don't know what's going to come up, and you have to let go of your ideas anyway. Even though we say we don't have them, we do. Yeah.
I feel like this project helped me be me. I feel like this project helped me not try and keep filtering myself through what I think I'm supposed to be doing, and instead just be very authentic. I loved that. I really loved that. I'm really glad to be in touch with you. I intend to stay in touch with you. Thank you so much.
Well, I've certainly loved checking out your music, and that's it. I mean, there are just, now that I'm kind of in the public sphere, learning all these mini universes out there of different artists and organizations that support them. It's like really, really cool.
Yeah, and I guess it's worth saying that it's really neat to have gotten Manitoba Arts reaching out about this project. I think it took a couple different shapes as it morphed and we landed where we landed. But I think it's important for anyone watching. I think there are people watching. I think it's important. Sure. It's important to just remind people that I can speak for myself and probably you too. I'm very grateful for having something that was engaging and interesting and reminded me that what I do sometimes matters. So I thank so much to Canada Council and Manitoba and everybody on the staff that put this together. It's a lot of coordinating, and we're both artists, and everybody's in COVID crazy. So, just thank you everybody so much for pulling everything together. And we're the first ones. We're the trailblazers. So that was really cool. And yeah, unless you have any more specific questions, I think we could turn it back over to Rhonda.
I just want to add in there that these times are hard for visual artists, but I think I really feel it for musicians, especially because even though pictures online don't really give it, it's easier to share that, and we're more used to that, not needing that live audience. So I really feel for you folks this time.
Yeah, it's been strange, but big love all around. Big love for everybody.
Thank you so much. What an awesome discussion, and you're the first ones on for this digital creation swap. And I thought when I got asked to be the moderator and told about this idea, I thought, what a great idea. I can't wait to see what the artists and the musicians are going to come up with. And what I've seen this evening, it's been so moving and beautiful. And yeah, I was brought to tears as well. And the creativity of both of you it's been so magical. And yeah, I loved listening to your story, your questions, and how you both answered you both asked really awesome questions, and very compelling, very engaging, and thank you for sharing your artwork with us. It's so beautiful. So we're gonna put it. There's lots of people watching, by the way, and we're gonna put it out to the audience if they want to ask some questions. And there is a question here already from. Let me see. I gotta bring her up here. From Can-Am Assistant. She said, Heather, do you start with an idea first, or does the piece develop from the materials?
Usually I do start with an image that often my photographs, and then I go to my prints and I say, who wants to make up this into a collage piece?
Okay, anybody else have any questions out there? I know there's lots of you out there watching.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks so much. That's really neat to have an audience, even if I can't see you, smell you, or taste you, or touch you.
Yeah, there's 58 people tuning in right now.
Really? How wonderful. Thank you, each of you.
And Tim Braun said, great discussion, Heather and Jen. Irene Paul said, love you too. It's very engaging. Jan Jenkins said, what a beautiful collaboration. Thanks so much for sharing your hearts with us. And that's for sure. You really did. What you both created is so amazing and very moving. How did the videoing challenge you?
Oh, that had to have been way more challenging for you, Heather. I mean,
when I did an interview, for a paper, I was asked how that was, and I really hope that he didn't quote it in the paper, but I'll say it here. I said I felt like my brain short-circuited. It was quite a challenge.
yeah, I
awesome.
feel like when I have to do a pre-tape video, there's a lot of pressure to make it quite perfect. And by perfect, I just mean like a really great performance. But I did my best to resist the urge to do it 6 million times. And, I wanted it to be like a pretty honest performance.
Awesome. So I'm getting a request that the audience wants to watch the videos again, especially after your engaging conversation on how the feelings that you both went through and how you came up with this creation. So I'm gonna play the videos again.
In times like these, words seem silly. I know, but here I go. Your heart is breaking on the other end. I never heard you so low. Hard to imagine you break such heart. Sometimes a person is an angel's lost. Tomorrow in the morning when you open your eyes, you'll hope that today was just a bad dream. But in seconds I know you will realize. I wish I could wipe your memory. There is no reason, it's nobody's fault. Sometimes a person is an angel's heart. I promise that you'll have the strength to go on your way. My heart is hurting with every beat. Stay. Heaven has signed up for it, lost and found. Looking for its angels who are stuck on the ground. For an days. I'll read between the lines upon your face. Your face. As summer gives way to fall, I can't help but recall how the autumn moon just danced in your eyes. The ghost of you, it haunts me. The sound of you on repeat. I feel you all around me. Your glowing light, it found me. And I never tried to. I'll never lose the ghost of you. I saw you there, sitting in that chair, staring out the window, whispering a prayer, a prayer. You held me tight, you took my hand, you told me, baby, this wasn't what we planned. Whoa. Summer gives way to fall. I can't help but recall how the autumn moon just danced in your eyes. The ghost of you, it haunts me. The sound of you on repeat. I feel you all around me. Your glowing light, it found me. And I never try to. Never lose the ghost of you. The ghost of you, it haunts me. The sound of you on repeat. I feel you all around me. Your glowing light, it found me. And I never tried to. I'll never lose the ghost of you.
Incredible. Oh, that's so moving. There's so many amazing comments coming up. I'll just read a couple of them. Fascinating collaboration. Thank you both very so much and so very interesting. Betty Jean Chuckley said that voice the art so beautiful. Thank you for replaying it. Canam from says they're watching from California and it makes me feel so much closer to home. Barbara Penner said the works of hands, and Victor Vega said what a great art performance. And Barbara Penner said the work of hands, crafting color, snipping softness, unfolding fluidity of layers, melody entwines, hush to see, gaze to hear. Thank you all. And what a beautiful collaboration, and happy that I got to witness your work this evening. And what a wonderful way to spend a Sunday night for sure.
Before we sign off, can we answer Joshua's question? And
Sure,
Joshua, thanks for tuning
sure.
in. Heather, you need to come off mute, so I'll go first. Joshua asked us, besides the economic or financial uncertainties as artists, what are the challenges with COVID? Did I get that right? The other single biggest challenge. I think it's feeling, for me, this is going to sound really melodramatic, so wait for it. I feel like the skill that I have the thing that I do, the reason I wake up every day to do the thing that I do is now like sort of illegal to do in public and to carry on. And the employable skill I have, the thing that I trade for money, is not allowed to be done right now. So I know you said other than the economic issue, but it is beyond that. It is getting up every day and still trying to feel relevant as a human being. Again, I know that sounds really melodramatic. I can hear it. I can hear how crazy that sounds. But as an artist, you know, since I was 14 or 15 years old, every day I get up and I do everything I can to make music and to have people listen to my music and engage with it and book me and want to engage with my art. So removing such a big chunk of that, I'm very grateful. I'm also a voice coach and have been able to do that online, and that's really, I'm grateful to my students and grateful to technology. It's kind of a gong show, but grateful that that is still there. But losing that piece of my existence has been very, very challenging. But how do you feel, Heather?
Yeah, I would say the biggest challenge is that if I want to stay in the game, I need to find new ways to give what I have to offer, and that means using technology more. And it's kind of constantly asking, when does the anxiety, stress of figuring that out compared to what I get for it? Because you can't replace being with people. You can come pretty close, but it's pretty tough to do.
Plus,
when
as a
you're
creator, you just want to create.
teach.
And as a teacher, you just want to teach. You don't want to click buttons, check your mic, test the thing, what's broken. Oh my God, oh, your mic's off, oh, the lights, bop, bop, bop. And all of a sudden, it's not you doing your craft anymore. It's you wearing 86 hats and just trying to stay afloat a little bit. So yeah, I know that is really challenging. But thank you all for coming to listen to my song and check out Heather's art. I think that really helps. It helps remember that there are art lovers out there who like to take in art. It's really important reminder. So thank you all.
Well, thank you, Jen, for sharing your beautiful, beautiful voice and your gorgeous lyrics and melodies. And thank you so much, Rhonda, too, for opening up with a prayer and Cree. That was
Very
beautiful.
Thank you so much for joining us again this evening. In closing, we want to thank all of you for attending and thank the artists for sharing their artwork with us. We will be posting the videos and this recorded event for you to peruse at your leisure on our YouTube channel. Please save the date for our next live stream on Wednesday, December 30th, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. featuring musician Leaf Rapids and visual artist Sarah Buller. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening and being a part of this beautiful, beautiful collaboration of music and art. Like I said.